Welcome to the Biz Builders podcast, where we believe building the business of your dreams can change your life. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former teacher turned certified life and business coach. After 14 years of teaching, I took a huge leap, left my job, and built 2 successful businesses with no business or sales background. Now I'm living the life of my dreams, and I'm ready to help you do the same. You're in the right spot here if you're ready to dig into not only the strategy of business building, but also the belief in yourself that building a business is possible. You're made for this, and you've got exactly what it takes to create the financial, time, and location freedom you're craving. Over here, we value progress over perfection. We embrace being uncomfortable, and we believe that anything, literally anything you want, is possible for you with the right strategy, mindset, and support. You'll also hear inspiring stories here and, of course, failures of women who are doing the same thing. The whole idea is if she can do it, so can I. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Like always, I say this every time, I am so freaking excited that you are here, and I am extra excited today because I have the most beautiful, amazing guest here, Brooke Summer Adams. Brooke, welcome to the podcast.
Sandy, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Yes, thank you so much I was telling you this before we started recording. From the moment that we were connected, I was like, okay, this girl's vibe and everything she's saying, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And we were just talking about how important it is to spread that message, spread the word. So Brooke is I wrote this down. She's a mindset mentor and business coach for new and aspiring coaches, AKA she's the coach's coach. And I love your Instagram bio. It says, my clients don't just quit their 9-to-5s, they rewrite their futures. So do you want to share a little bit about you and what you do?
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I mean, I think the bio, this is, tangents on tangents straight away before my first even sentence. I think many coaches, business owners that use social media, personal branding will relate with the ever evolving bio. It took us a while to find the words that really sum it up. But I'm loving my bio at the moment. By the time you guys find me, it might be different again. I love to evolve my message and my brand, but it's exactly that. My footing in this space, what I've really become known for is helping new and aspiring coaches actually go full time in their business. So it's not about making a particular figure. It's not about signing a particular amount of clients. It's that freedom moment. And that really is my driving force. It's the core value that underpins everything I do in my business is freedom. I just can't get behind this idea of working a job you hate to pay bills and then die. Yeah. It's just not, I'm just not about it. My clients aren't about it. So, I mean, practically what we do, a lot of mindset work, a lot of strategy, a lot of business building and running and launching to actually create a reality where you can leave your 9-to-5 and you can rely on your business. But more than that, it's about restoring what I believe we all come here with a right to, which is freedom to do your life's best work, to do what you want to do with your days, to actually, have money left over at the end of the month to experience and do things. But yeah, that's pretty much us in a nutshell.
I love it so much. And I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, I wish I had have known you 2.5 years ago when I left my 9-to-5 job. I was like, fuck this. Just like what you said, there's more out there for me. And I can either be one of those people that just says, no, this is just how it is. Okay, grind 9-to-5, whatever. But I was like, hell no, it's either you put your head down and stay here forever, or you take the leap and you trust yourself and you just go and you jump. And I'm going to just get right into this too. I hear this all the time when people come to me when they're in that kind of in-between space where they are like, I think there's more out there for me. I really want to go, but I'm really scared. But there's all these things with my pension and my retirement and blah, 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 blah. What do you say to that person? How do you... And the other thing too, I'll add to that, is that they'll always say to me, well, Sandy, how many clients do I need to have before I leave? Or how much money in the bank account do I need to have saved up before I can take this leap? And I'm always like, it's not about any of those things. So what do you say when people ask you that? Because I'm sure you've heard that question before.
I love this. I absolutely love this question. There's so many different ways I can answer this. I think one of the things that's important to remember when you're in this space, because you may resonate with yourself then, and we all go through this, taking this leap. What if that happens? And what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if that? And it's this really, really logical perspective that makes sense when you're in it, that we see employment as really safe, and we see corporate as really safe, and work is really, really safe, and business is risky and it's scary. And when you really picture it, I couldn't see that as less true. Like, when you are working for someone else, you're putting your entire future, your pension, your savings, whatever it is, in the hands of someone else's ability to maintain that success and want to keep you in that role and actually appreciate you in that role. You know, for a lot of people, you may get a heads up if you're being made redundant, but there you go. Good luck. Start again. You know, worst case scenario in business, if it really ever reached that point, you know before you get there. And it is really in your full control to actually do something about it. And this is something I've, come to anyone who follows me outside of this, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I'm a very type A personality. I like certainty. I like things my way. I'm not your carpe diem kind of go with the flow girl too much, to be honest. And I really did used to see business as something that was full of uncertainty and full of risks and scary, and it is. But it's not to the same extent of putting your future, your life, your time in the hands of someone else. And I think that's actually something that a lot of people don't acknowledge or ever really think about, is when you are in your own business, you're in control of your future. If you want to fill up that pension pot faster, do something to fill it up faster. If you want to, make sure you've got a certain amount of savings for whatever reason, right? Your own kind of safety net that helps you feel safe. And this can seem like a really simple reductionist answer if you're not there yet. But when you know how to make money, when you know how to make a sale, you know how to make 10 times as many of those sales, 100 times as many of those sales, versus being in a job that goes, okay, how do I double my salary?
Right. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right.
I agree with you. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't notice, or not don't notice, but don't recognize too, that like you are the creator of that, of the offers, of the money, of the movement, the momentum, like all of the things that you're doing. And it comes back to self-trust, right? This very specific type of trust in yourself. And it's taken me, I resonate with everything that you just said about type A, perfectionist, like I like control. I am not a go with the flow type of girl. I need the plan and the backup plan and all the things. I am the exact same way. But when you get comfortable sitting in that risk and in that uncertainty because you've done it over and over and over again, and you realize, oh, wait a second, like even in the shittiest month or the shittiest time or the lowest, cash month, I'm still able to generate these things in my business that bring, that sense of consistency, I guess, because that's what I think most people are scared of walking away from.
Yeah.
Is consistency. Yeah.
100% consistency and predictability. And I think zoning in on that as well, something that was always my backbone when you're in the building phase, like the run up to, right? Whatever your milestone is, if it's being full time in your business, making that first sale, handing your notice, whatever it is, when you're on the run up to it and you're thinking, can I get there? And that's the biggest worry. That's the biggest uncertainty, is remembering, okay, even if you didn't, at the end of it, you get to know you were the person who tried. And that for me was always like my fallback, my safety. Like, do you know what? There is no reason why I shouldn't do this. Because at the end of the day, if I never even got close, right? And it all went to absolute shit, I get to go to sleep at night knowing I gave it my all and I wasn't the person who settled. And I don't have to carry around those, oh, what if I tried? What if I tried? What if I tried? I mean, the reality is, for me, like you said, you realize you become your own creator of your success, right? And whether it works in that month, in that offer, in that way, is irrelevant. You have the ability to recreate it from that point moving forward. So yeah, it's that mindset that we all have moving into. I think it's a very conditioned mindset, and actually sometimes, sorry, dog, zooming out a little bit, can put it in perspective.
Yeah. Definitely. I was just going to say something and I forgot. I do this all the time.
Love that.
But that's okay. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. So how do you answer that question when people say, Brooke, how many clients do I need? How do you answer that? What do you say to them?
Oh, so I have two answers to this question. I have one that really satisfies that logical part of your brain that wants a tangible answer. And then I have one that I think is really the better and more truthful answer that will feel true and right and complete to you at a certain point in the journey. There's a point when you are just too new for this to really feel right. But the reality is there is no number, there is no figure that will ever make you feel ready. It is a single decision that you make for yourself. And I have seen this myself in my own journey, you know, with clients who just say to myself, okay, if I had 6 months of reoccurring revenue stacked up and I had a few people on my wait list and I had X amount in my savings, then I'll feel safe and ready to hand in my notice. And guess what? That moment comes and it's still terrifying. Yeah, and you still feel like you should have more, and you still feel like you should be more prepared. There is no set point at which you'll ever feel ready for anything. And I think the most successful people are the ones who don't wait to feel ready to do something. Chances are if you feel ready to do it, if it's already in your comfort zone, you've probably missed the boat. You're probably playing smaller than you need to be playing. But that being said, I do also take a very pragmatic approach in my coaching. I do have a very strange hybrid in the way I like to do things. I can be so woo and out there, but really grounded and practical in my approaches that I teach. And I do think, you know, knowing what that monthly figure is that say you would take home from your 9 to 5, being able to see what that looks like in terms of sales. Okay, how many sales would I need to be making on a certain consistent basis, can bring a lot of ease to the nervous system because you have targets to hit, right? And you have milestones. So is there a certain amount of money you're going to need to see coming in each month in order to not hyperventilate, you know, as you build your business? Yeah. Whatever your bills are, right? You're going to need that. And you can reverse engineer that. Okay, what are we going to sell to how many people over what time frame, for sure. But even once you have that, you'll never feel ready.
Absolutely. And I say that all the time. I say this to my clients all the time. Like, you are ready is not a feeling. It is a decision. You decide that you are ready, even when you're scared, even when you're feeling fear, because you can feel fear and you can still move, right? Like, and then you begin to stack that evidence and prove to yourself that, like, oh, I did it and I didn't die, right? Like, I did it and everything was okay. Nothing burned down. And so, that idea of ready, and that if I have this, then I'll feel ready, or then I'll be confident, or then I'll, show up in my like fullest power. It's like, no, you're going to have that thing and then you're going to feel the exact same way that you feel right now. Like, I say this all the time. So how do we start to move now without completely disrupting your nervous system along the way? So
yeah, 100%.
Okay, so speaking of like imposter syndrome and like analysis paralysis and all of that stuff and overwhelm, like we've all been there, especially in the beginning. I don't know about you, but I don't have a business background. I don't have a marketing background. I don't have a sales background. Like, my background is in education. Like, I can teach a kid to read, but I can, like, walking into business, I was like, I don't know how to do any of this. So a lot of that imposter syndrome, how did you move through that when you were in that stage of your business?
Oh, what a brilliant question. I think there's ways in which I moved through that upon reflection weren't the right ways. Okay, and this is air quotation marks I'm doing right now for anyone who can't see us. The right ways, And in reality, it was the journey, and that was the trial and error experience, and that was how things, needed to be to move me. And then there's a part of a journey where I acknowledged, okay, how do we actually perceive this? How do we actually move with this? Because I think you'll resonate, Sunny, when you have perfectionistic tendencies and perfectionistic traits. You will convince yourself that there's a certain amount of boxes you can tick and a certain amount of things you can do that will allow you to feel good enough. And for me, I went heavy on the certification, right? That was when I came into this very logical, okay, this is the problem. I don't feel good enough to start a business. What's the solution? Accolades. All the ticks of approval, all the things you could possibly have that will tell the rest of the world, you can listen to me and I am good enough. And I did all of them, and I spent multiple 6 figures on all of them before my business had made a penny. And guess what? Felt no different.
You felt the same way.
It felt exactly the same way. So the second approach was a decision. It's not an affirmation. I can't explain this enough. It's not something you just repeat to yourself in the mirror. It's a decision where you go, this is my space. This is who I am. this is what I'm here to do. And I am going to be that in order for everyone else to see that. And I think it's understanding that when you come into business, particularly in personal branding, like the kind of people that are going to be listening to this, you are a leader. You are here to lead. Now, you do not just become a leader because other people say you are. You be the leader so that people can see you as one. And it is very much that ability to move in line with the results you want, not the results you have. Show up like hundreds of people are listening, even though they're not. Speak like you are the best expert in the room, even if maybe you don't feel like it right now. That's how you start to close that gap. No one is coming to save you and go, oh, by the way, the whole world thinks you're amazing. Like you have to own that point on the stage first, in order for other people to see it. And it doesn't always feel safe, and it doesn't always feel natural. But if you are able to connect to that vision of yourself, if you are able to have this idea in the first place, it's because it exists within you. Right? There's a potential within you that you're tapping into that you weren't able to see before. So it's about letting yourself become it without needing a reason to be able to be it.
Yeah, and it truly starts within you, right? Because I know if we want to go like woo and manifestation and all of that, like your reality is a reflection of how you see yourself. So let's work internally and start to see ourselves as the leader, as the expert. I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, they'll come to me and they'll go, Sandy, I just saw this girl and she's doing this thing and it's what I want to do. And, she just started and like, why is it like popping off for her? I'm like, she decided that she was going to be good at that. And you're still sitting over here thinking, can I do this? Do I need another certification? Do I need another course? Like, you just got to decide and step into it. And then you have to believe it, because if you believe it, it does not matter what anyone else thinks or believes. Your people will come and resonate with you and resonate with that wholly, like 100%.
Yeah, it is that. It's through and through. It's an internal decision. It's an internal identity that you step into first before the rest of reality catches up with you. And I think if I could learn that lesson in so many different regards, not just imposter syndrome, but in so many areas of business and life, if I'd learned that lesson sooner, we would have moved, we would have got here a lot quicker, basically. That, it's your outside world catches up with your inner, not the other way around.
Yes. And it's hard because it feels counterintuitive to like slow down and look inside and do that work. But it's so true. It is so true. Speaking of that, so your story is really, really inspiring from what I've read and seen, in snippets on Instagram and on your website. You talk about how you started your business from like a spare bedroom with like a shitty computer that would like, you had to have a fan. I don't remember the whole thing.
Yeah. I know the part. Yeah.
You're inspiring. And I would love, if you're open to it, just sharing, whatever part of that story that you would be open to sharing, because I think so often people think, well, we have this idea that like, well, that's cool for her. But like for me, we think we're like the exception to the rule, but really it's like, no, anybody gets to have this. Anybody gets to be this. And so I love having other people share their stories, just because it's like, well, if she can do it, so can I, right?
Oh, I love it. I really do love it. And I've come a long way with feeling really proud and owning my story and my journey, because for a long time, it never felt like enough. It's this weird thing in coaching. It was sat in between, I'm not traumatized enough to have the story to be in this space, / I don't have that lovely, like, I spent 10 years in corporate helping the biggest brands do their marketing, and I had neither. And my story was one that doesn't make sense for where I am today. And for a long time, I had a lot of my own judgments around that and my own reservations around that, about if I shared my story, what that would make people think of me. But I've really reached a point where I think you hit the nail on the head. What my story shows people is quite what is possible when you decide you're going to get somewhere. It really doesn't matter where you start. So I am pretty much known as the girl that got herself off of the council estate. So I do have one of those nice kind of, I grew up eating from dustbins stories, not that extreme. But we have that kind of nice contrast hero story there. I'm the eldest of a lot of siblings. We had 5 biologically, 10 if you include the steps. And we were raised on welfare on a council estate. So we had no working parents in the household. So I had never seen hard work, achievement, progress. I mean, I was the first of our entire family to ever make it to university. So owning a business, there has never been any instance of it anywhere in our family. So it was not something I ever saw or modeled or understood. What I knew as success was you get very good at ducking the police and going to organized crime, or you get very lucky on scratch cards, or you marry rich. And that was the one that most people thought was on the cards for me, to be honest. And that's what everyone said, you know, go find yourself a nice rich man and, you know, get yourself out of here and settle down. And honestly, it was trying to do a career that made the biggest push for me to get out of that life. I was always told at school that I had, you know, an attitude problem. I would never get anywhere because I can't obey rules and I can't understand authority. And I wasn't rude. I just had no tolerance for bullshit and arbitrary. I had no tolerance for what felt like a waste of time, for things that just didn't make sense to me or felt like a lack of potential or a lack of purpose or a lack of meaning. So I always knew that I was going to have to do something for myself in order to get anywhere. What that was going to be, I did not know. But I knew, I always had this feeling, I'm going to have to change this. I'm going to have to create something for myself. And the way I got here was a very beautiful natural unfolding. I joined, to cut a long story short, I joined a martial arts gym. So I'm still a kickboxer to this day. On my first day, I was paired with another newbie girl starter because it was, you know, both of our first day, and she was a life coach. And it was the first time I'd ever heard of life coaching. Now, at that time, I was struggling with eating disorders, body dysmorphia. I'd been diagnosed with chronic stress. I wasn't in the greatest of places. And I remember, I'll be brutally honest, I hated this woman. I hated her. I hated the way she moved. I hated her happiness. I hated her energy. I hated how in love she was with life. It's very much, if anyone's ever been in a shit mood and someone happy comes in the room, like that, I felt like that every time I was with her. She just irritated me until she didn't. Until I actually kind of acknowledged my own ego and my own bullshit in that situation. And I ended up hiring her. And I had the transformation of my life. We worked together for 6 months. It was the first time I'd ever invested in myself. It was the first time I ever really thought about what I'm, you know, capable of, and these different aspects of myself that I always thought were bad and wrong and where they could take me. And I finished that program so inspired. I asked her where she studied. I joined that school. I became a life coach, and I got recognized in the female empowerment space. So I got very big in body image, was the space that I went into. And then from there, naturally evolved over a few years. I mean, we're doing this 7 years now, into the coach's coach, just people in my cohort asking me, how are you doing this? Helping them out realize, actually, I'm pretty freaking good at this as well. And yeah, I can't lie. I loved the work I did in that space. But helping people create their dream lives is a lot more fun than helping people work through body image issues. So this is where we got here today. That's my story.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I literally was just like, it's crazy to me that you would say in the beginning of your story, you said, I've had to work pretty hard to realize that this story is like enough to share. And as you're talking, I'm just thinking like, what the fuck? Like, of course, this is like a beautiful story to share, and everybody has their own story and their own path, and it gets to be enough. Like whatever it is, it's always enough. But truly, I mean, it's a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing. And I appreciate too that you brought in to the conversation just the like your background of like what you were used to seeing, because I think a lot of people don't realize how that can play a role in how we excuse me, like how we move in our businesses, or when we decide we're like, okay, let's go, let's do this thing. I know there's more out there for me, but then we almost like are blocking ourselves because of things that we think are true that aren't necessarily true. So I appreciate you bringing that. For me, mine, like the thing that I saw growing up was, you know, my parents worked a 9 to 5. So in my, you know, childhood brain, it was that's how things work. You go to your job, you stay there all day, you miss birthday parties on the weekends, sometimes you miss out on gymnastics events, you hate your job, you come home and you complain about it, and that's just what we do.
Yeah.
And so holy shit, like stripping away from that for me was part of my journey as well. And then I also loved what you talked about, how you said, I hated her. Like, I hated the way she moved. I hated her positivity. I hated her, like, I hated everything. She really irritated me. And I always take that as such, because people tell me that all the time. They'll go, Sandy, like, when I first met you, I thought you were like fake. You're like too happy. Like, that can't be real. It has to be so fake. And I'm sure you probably get it too. But now I take that as a compliment, because I know that there's something in me that they are, desiring. And I'm like, let me help you get there. Let me help you. Let's do this.
Yeah, I love it.
In business, life, motherhood, whatever it is. Like, let's freaking go. So
I absolutely love it. And yeah, I just always, I have to keep it real. I'd love to say, and I was so inspired by this woman. I just, no, I just wanted to have my space. But yeah, it was a journey getting here. And the laptop part, just to not leave that as an open loop for people. Some people listening to this will resonate. If anyone's ever had a laptop where some of the keys go, right, it's like on the keyboard, there was a few letters missing. I remember I had I missing, which was really annoying. I had C missing. And L was missing as well. Another annoying one. You don't realize how much you need an L. So every single time every social media post, guys, I had to copy and paste across the I's, the L's, everything. Yeah, if it didn't have a fan on it, it was going to explode. It didn't have a battery in it because it got so hot. We just had to run it straight through the mains. It was, when you want something, guys, you can make it happen no matter how many keys are missing.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time too. I'm like, you want something, you just got to decide that you're going to go get it, and then you need to make it happen. Because I built my first business too. People come to me all the time and go, but I don't have time. Like, when I have time. And I'm like, no, I was working a full-time job. I was teaching kindergarten, which was like a nightmare in itself. And then my boys at home, my kids were young. I mean, they were little, but I was like, fuck, we got to get out of here. Like, girl, we got to do something here. No excuses. We're not using that as an excuse. Okay, so I have one more question for you. Well, I probably have a lot more questions for you, but so share, if you don't mind. And I think this kind of outlet, like in all of your offers, like something that a key habit or something that you would recommend, or say if you want to move forward like faster, here's what you should do.
Ooh.
And I know there's probably a lot, but like, I don't know, just what resonates right now? What's coming to you?
That is very difficult. Okay, so if we're trying to just move quicker, move faster, what would be my best piece of advice? What would we do?
Yeah, or if you're trying to build, because a lot of the coaches that you work with are newer, they're aspiring, they're ready to go. Maybe they've had a couple clients and they want to build more momentum. That's a better way of putting it. Not necessarily, okay. I don't think it's about moving fast or quick. It's about the momentum. What is like a key habit or something that you do in your day-to-day that allows you to build momentum in what you do, or what you would recommend somebody else to do?
Oh, this is such a good question. There is so much I could tell you. I think the biggest one I'm going to go with, because it has been such a huge like collapser of time in my journey when I really took this one seriously. My career absolutely skyrocketed, and it is now something I absolutely swear by with every single client I work with, is keeping yourself in what I've called the entrepreneurial Goldilocks zone. Okay, now there's a chance I've picked this up from somewhere. I don't know if I've coined the term, but I fully believe it was an original thought. It may have come from somewhere if you've heard it before. But to me, the entrepreneurial Goldilocks zone, and this kind of sums up my approach. I'm not super left, right, extreme on anything. I do take a very unique kind of congealed, holistic approach to things. The entrepreneurial Goldilocks zone is where you are just enough outside of your comfort zone that you are not comfortable. You are not coasting, but you are not so far out of your comfort zone that you're going to freeze and shut down and panic and not be able to have any kind of good creative thoughts. So what this means is, if at the moment you've got your head around creating content, and the thought of going live literally makes you freeze and want to throw up, and the thought of doing, I don't know, talking head reels scares you, you want to be doing talking head reels. Do the thing that is scaring you, but not so much that you literally cannot do it. If you can keep yourself just outside what feels safe and what feels comfortable, you will move so much quicker, because the reality is something feels comfortable to you once you have all the evidence and all the proof in the world that you can do it over and over and over and over and over again. And once you've reached that point, that's already way beneath your potential. Yeah, so if you can keep yourself in that little Goldilocks zone, so you can move, you're not comfortable, but you can move, right? It's like, you haven't got a broken leg, but it's got a little bit of a strain to it. Think about that kind of analogy. Like, you can still walk, even though it's not the easiest thing to do. You will move so much quicker. Like, if you think your audience is ready for an offer of 10 people, launch one for 20. If you think, you are ready to speak on a stage virtually, go in person on the stage. Whatever it looks like to you, just push it that one little bit further, and you'll be amazed how many unnecessary steps and side detours and things that you'll just skip that you don't need.
I know. And I'll have clients come to me often and they'll go, Sandy, like, here's my list for the week. I need help prioritizing it. What should I do first? Where should my focus be? And the first question that I always ask, well, there's always two. One is like, which ones are revenue generating? And the second one is always, what do you not want to do? What are you scared to do on this list? What are you avoiding? That's where we're going to start. That's where we go. Yeah. And that's what we do first. Like, let's go. So I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, well, we kind of went backwards. I was going to ask you a couple like fun questions in the beginning, but we just kind of like dove right in. So are you okay to ask some fun questions now? Okay. So where are you located right now, and what is the weather there? Like, what's the weather like there right now?
Oh my goodness, this is going to blow anyone who's listening in the UK right now. This is going to blow your mind. It is hot, sunny. I think it's like 30 degrees outside, which we use Celsius.
Celsius,
yeah, Celsius. Thank you. I should know that. So that's not Fahrenheit. I think that'd be very cold for you guys. Blue skies, clear, which I honestly, this is not an over exaggeration. We maybe get this for like a week a year. So it is absolutely stunning here. I am on the south coast of the UK, a little place called Southampton, Portsmouth. It's a couple hours out from London, which is a better known part. But yeah, we're right on the ocean.
Oh, amazing. Is that where you grew up?
It is pretty much where I grew up. It's the nicer part of where I grew up. But yes, it's in the same, I think you guys would call it like the same state, basically.
Amazing. Okay. So then don't think too hard about this. What, if you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I know this, I have this prepared. It would be potato, because of how versatile it is.
It is, you're right.
Yeah, I can have crisps, I can have chips, I can jack it, mash. And the amount of different ways you can chips, fries, triple cooked, I'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We've got some carbs and starch in there. We're good.
Carbs.
Okay.
Always carbs.
Yes, totally. Okay, and then one more question. What is one thing that most people don't know about you?
Oh, one thing people don't know about me, I am silly. I am silly, 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 silly. I think people look at my story, they look at how quickly I grew up, they look at the success that I created. And if you see me working, like, I am serious about what I do. I take my work seriously, but fuck me, am I silly? It's a lot of playfulness, a lot of jokes, a lot of banter, a lot of tickle fights in my world is, that I will say one of the best things about my upbringing. We had to laugh. We had to laugh about everything. We had to turn everything into a joke, because that was how, you coped, really. And now it's not a coping mechanism. It's just a firm belief of my life is to be enjoyed. And a lot of people don't often realize, unless you come and hang out on my Instagram stories, you'll see it a little bit more. But yes, I am silly to my core.
I love that. And so that brought up a question for me. This is one more kind of business-ish related question, if you're okay with it. But you do a really good job in your content on Instagram, stories, website. You really show up authentically. Like, it feels very, very authentic, and it feels very embodied with, like, you own who you are and what you do and how good at it you are. Can you talk to me a little bit about the journey of getting to that spot of, like, just fully being like, here I am, like, fuck it. If you don't like it, like, walk away.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. I mean, it is a journey. For anyone that has, does become a part of my world and, binges some more of the content and sees about my story, my biggest hold up was showing up online. It was saying something like, not even videos, just writing anything, just saying something. And I think so many people resonate with this, the putting yourself in the firing line for judgment, for ridicule. It's a milestone. And we celebrate it massive in my world. And people say like, I finally did a talking head, or I finally did a live, and like people around you don't get how big that is. It's a huge step of personal growth, let alone business growth. And I won't lie to you, a lot of it is reps and exposure. You it's like going to the gym. You load a little bit more weight on the bar each time, because if you put too much on, you're going to break your bones. No one is able to go from never showing up online to here's my freaking soul. Not like that, not without loads of background work that you're not seeing. So it is a journey, it's exposure, it's reps. And this won't be the most profound answer that people are expecting, but honestly, something that has helped me massively is zoning out on this picture for a minute, zoning out and realizing I am this tiny little creature on this tiny little rock spinning 1,000,000 miles an hour in the middle of nowhere. Nothing really matters that much. Right. Everyone who's alive right now is going to be dead in 150 years. And I'm talking about Instagram. Why am I sat here fuck it, who gives a fuck? One of my favorite people on this planet, my biggest idol, was RuPaul Charles. And he hit this now on the head. He says, if those bitches aren't paying your bills, don't pay those bitches no mind. And that was really the core thing for me, is my clients and my community, the people who will support me, pay for me, they are going to love what I put out there. It's the people who aren't that won't like it. So why are we thinking about them? They're not a part of it. They're not a part of it. Right. So, it's a shift of perspective. It's a shift of priorities. And it's also just an ability to get comfortable with being embarrassed and getting things wrong and looking silly and looking cringy, because it doesn't matter.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Every so often I'll get asked the question, like, Sandy, what were like the turning points in your business? Like, where did you really start to feel? And that was one of them in the beginning, was like, I just got really used to like looking like an idiot and being uncomfortable and being okay with it. Like being very cringe. There's some sort of saying, right? Like first they call you cringe and then they ask you how you did it or something. There's something like that, but it's so true. But there's no way to get from A to B without like the reps. And that's, exactly.
That is your entry fee. That's the cost of the ticket. That is the price we all have to pay. You're going to feel stupid at points. You're going to feel like an idiot, like a fraud, cringy, all of the stuff. You're going to be up at night, like wishing the world would just kind of swallow you whole because you said that thing that other people won't agree with. And as you get through those moments and you don't die, your body starts to give less and less and less fucks. And you reach a point where you just tap into your most unhinged feral self. And that's where your success lives. Guys, all the parts you're hiding away, that's your secret sauce.
Yes. Okay. End episode. Goodbye. I love it so much. Thank you. And that's a really good, actually. I know you said this might not be what people want to hear, but like I think it is. It's a good, just envisioning the bigger picture and like nothing matters. Nothing matters. My husband says the same thing to me when I'm like, he'll say, Sandy, nothing matters. Like, stop it. You're right. Okay. So I love that. Well, this was such an amazing conversation. We could probably keep talking for another 40 minutes. But we'll save that for another time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be here. This was an absolute pleasure. And I know that anybody that listens in is going to get a ton out of this. So I really, really appreciate it. So thank you.
Oh, Sandy, thank you for having me. I love this conversation. And honestly, I could sit here all day and all evening and keep going. So yeah, for the sake of like other people's lives and stuff, we should probably stop. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. And please share, Brooke, before you go, please share, where can people find you, more of you?
I reckon the best place to come and hang out with me is going to be Instagram. I mean, there's so many different things going on in our world. Some things, that we do all the time consistently, some things that pop up and leave. There's so many different things I could talk about in this space. But honestly, if you like the vibe and you're thinking, okay, this is a woman's story I'd like to check out, or I would love to come and plug into her world. This sounds like this is where my people are hanging out. If you come and find me on Instagram, it's Brooke Summer Adams. Brooke has an E on the end of it. I'm sure it'll be somewhere in the description. You'll be able to come and hang out with us and see all the different things that go on inside our world, and do what feels right for you.
Amazing. Yeah, I will put the link in the show notes so it's easy to get. And I also know you have a free masterclass that people can check out, so we'll get that in there as well. And yeah, amazing. Like, just incredible. Thank you. This really filled my cup today even. So thank you again for being here, Brooke. And I'll see you guys next time for the next episode. All right, bye. Bye, Brooke.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, you guys. If you're ready to get your business going and making money and to step into that next level version of you, I would love to support you make that happen through strategy, mindset work, and my Cut the BS style coaching, because it's always better, quicker, and more fun to have someone who's already been through it support you. Shoot me a message over on Instagram with the word ready, and we can chat and get your questions answered about coaching and how I can support you. I cannot wait to hear from you.